Hello and welcome to the latest CraftySniper's airsoft videos. Today's blog video is going to be on an entry that was put into the Goal or the Jail's Facebook page. I think it was last week or week before now, and it's something that it impacts on me in the fact of what I do in airsoft. And I just want to kind of put my two penneth into this. Now, before I get into this is not a hate video. This is not me complaining, bitching, whining, or whatever about anything to do with the Goal. I personally think the Goal is a fantastic CQB site. It's set in a jail. They've got a couple of wings, multiple level buildings, office blocks, car parks. It's a fantastic days out. CQB action guaranteed. It's absolutely wonderful. However, I'm just talking about the post that they've put up. Now, I've got this put up live next to my camera at the moment on the screen. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but basically the gist of it is they've had an issue with photography in their airsoft matches. And they're also having issues regarding break times having to be extended due to players needing staged photos. And also these players that have had the staged photos and not been on break getting their kit ready or having their lunch or whatever, they basically, they won't turn up for the next match. So the Goal's staff people are having to basically rejig the teams around because there's a massive group of players who are now not in a match because they were too busy having staged photos taken of them. There also is their response to this issue, which is the fact that they have now banned all photography at their events, bar two people, I do believe it is, and the site staff. And I want to talk about that. So let's just break this all down to what the problem is. Basically, over the last 5 or 6 months, they've had a number of comments and complaints from players regarding photographers getting in the way, giving their positions away, and the like. Now, I'm an airsofter and I'm a photographer. I used to do photography, taking photos of aircraft. I still do, actually. And I like photography. I love airsoft now. I've been doing it for 5 odd years. And I kind of brought the two together, the two things I really enjoy, media, photography, and airsoft. I personally, as a photographer, when I'm taking photos at any event, I would hate to be the person who got that person killed, who got that other person shot, because I'm standing there in a high-vis jacket because I have to wear something that illuminates me away from a normal player, and I'm taking a photo of an airsofter, and that airsofter's in an ambush position, and he gets shot because basically the enemy team looked at me, looked at where I was looking at, and they put 2 and 2 together and came up with 4. That would be bad. Now, there's difference between the photography I do and the photography that the photographers are doing at the jail, and that's due to the site. I do photography at woodland sites where there is far more distance to roam in. I can walk around. At a CQB site, you are limited to the site itself. So if you was taking the photos inside one of the buildings, for instance, there's nowhere for the photographer to go. It's just going to stand there, take photos, and whichever way it's pointing at, 9 times out of 10, there's going to be a player on the end of that camera shot. Now, for myself, I will be walking around a woodland site. I try not to get too up close and personal with airsofters while they're having their fun. They don't want to see me get in the way for that amazing kill shot that I'm always after. Now, there are times when I will take photos of players that are in ambush positions. And I use the rule, which is quite simply put, take the photo, move. That's all it is. I'm always looking around, not with the camera or anything, but I'm looking around to see what the airsofters are doing. Is there that cool shot out there? And I'll find that shot, lift up, snap, gone. That's it. That's literally what I'll do, and then walk on. Very few times am I standing still. I mean, if there's an attack at Lincolnshire Airsoft Club, we have some of these structures, the 2-story structures and whatnot. Now, that may be a case of the enemy team is attacking this structure and there's a defensive team inside it and they can't roam anywhere. Now, I may go to the top of the 2-story structure to get those amazing photos looking down at an attack that's happening, but there's nowhere for me to go. Everybody knows where everyone else is in that kind of environment. So, yeah, I would personally hate to be the person who, gives away an airsofter's position just for that photo. But my personal stance is I keep walking, keep moving, and I don't stay in one place too many times. Staged shots. Now, these staged shots are different than a normal photography session. The photography, normally in an airsoft match, is just as the airsoft match plays. You're busy doing your running and gunning. A photographer will be there just to take your photos. A staged shot is when the airsofter is taken away from his match, or her match, and they're doing those cool positions, holding their rifles, you know, holding a grenade, and there's a photographer in a prime position, which you can't get in a normal airsoft match, taking those photos. They look fantastic. We all know staged photos look fantastic. They're not realistic because it's not in a real airsoft match, but they do look awesome. The problem with these staged photos is at the goal, they're happening during the break time. So let's say you have a lunch. Let's say it's 45 minutes for a lunch. You disappear all off for your lunch. Some players come up to the photographer and say, "Oh, can you do some staged photos of me? I want to be, attacking a doorway or some ridiculous thing like that." Yeah, no worries. And you go out there and you take your photos. That airsofter is not getting his or her kit ready. That airsofter is not having lunch or taking on fluids or anything like that. So when the stage photos are done, that player then goes back into the break area. Everyone else has had their lunch, they're getting their kit ready, they're doing the right thing, and this player, or players, still wants to have their lunch. Now, yeah, they paid to have a lunch, but now there's an issue, because when the next match starts, these players are not ready. They haven't got their kit ready, they haven't reloaded their magazines, there's probably still stuff in their faces full of bacon rolls. They're delaying everything. And at the goal, the staff have had to rearrange teams and stop certain matches that they were going to play because there isn't enough players. And it's a headache for the staff, and I understand this, and this is wrong. Staged photos, in my view, should never really take place during a break time. I do a thing called the player focus scheme, and they are staged photos. I take one player. That player comes up to me and says, "Can I have some staged photos taken? Can I be in the player focus scheme?" Yep, not a problem. I arrange ahead of time to have my camera gear all sorted out. I'll let the player have their lunch, get their kit ready, and then go up to him and says, "Look, let's go get these photos taken." It takes but 5-10 minutes, if that. Photos are taken, players back in. I haven't yet. I think I've done 6 player focus schemes, and I haven't yet had one of those players be late back into a match because of myself. So yeah, it kind of works really well for me on that one. Now, they have said at the jail that they're going to allow 30 minutes at the end of the day for these stage photos to be taken. And this is a good idea because it's at the end of the day. Everyone's had their matches. Everyone's now done and dusted. There is no more events coming up. So a stage photo then makes perfect sense. And I agree with that. That's fantastic. Now there's 2 lines here in this little post that I'm reading. And this is the part I don't particularly like. From today, when this post was put up, we no longer will allow any photographers on site other than their agreed photographers and the site staff. So they have effectively banned every other photographer from ever turning up, for the time being at least, at their events, bar the ones that they normally turn up, I suppose. Now, I don't take photos at the jail because I'm usually so excited just to play there. But to be banned, is that a good thing or is it a bad thing? Now, from my perspective, I don't want to be banned at doing anything. I would hope that my photography has not caused any issues at the events I've played at, but obviously they have had issues, and that's why they've had to draw up this new rule. And quite frankly, yeah, I'm not for it. Let's put it that way. I'm not going to break their rule and turn up with a camera and just say, I'm taking photos. But, yeah, I'm not for it. And I have spoken to other photographers. There's a photographer at Links Airsoft Club, Zoidwolf, and he takes fantastic photos. He has had an injury, hospital-related stuff. I won't go into the details. But basically, all he's allowed to do now, for the time being, is take photos. Now, he's played more times at the jail than I have. Loves the site, but because he can't play airsoft now, he's restricted to photos, and now he can't go to the jail because he can't do photos and he can't do airsoft, and he's banned. I'm banned. Everyone's banned bar the ones that they've agreed to keep. Is that a good thing? No, I don't think so. So yeah, that's just my personal preferences or little thoughts on this post. What do you guys think? Because I think this is something that we need to have a little bit of a discussion with. Should airsoft have photographers? Should they be allowed into an event at all? Should there be staged photos during a match, during a lunch break or something like that? Or should they be restricted to after the event is finished, like what the jail are doing? And what do you guys think about photographers being banned at the site? Now, you could be an airsofter with an opinion on whether photography, should be banned from airsoft altogether, or whether, what side you're on for photographers being at the jail. Or you can be an airsoft photographer yourself. What's your opinion on this? Do you like the fact that you've now just been banned from the jail for taking photos? So yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys have got on this point, on what you think about it, and yeah, hopefully we'll get a few comments going and have a little bit of a discussion about this. So yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed this blog video. Hopefully you found it a bit more informative, especially about the latest airsoft events. So yeah, I'm CraftySniper. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Stay safe, and I will see you on an airsoft field very, very soon.